I'm demonstrating it today. I'm just doing it a little bit early so that you guys know how to clean the stall, how we ask that you guys clean it here. There's obviously different ways to clean the stall. Not everybody's going to do it the same way, but this is the way that we want it done at Mid-America. Okay? All right, so your equipment is the first thing that you need to gather. You need a mug bucket, and you also need a apple picker or stall fork. You guys can get in there. All right, so the very first thing after I've gotten my equipment is I'm going to go in there. Now, two things that I'm going to keep in mind is that I'm always going to keep the horse on the opposite side that I am, and I'm also going to keep my butt close to me, okay? I don't want the horse to step in it or pick it up and pull the manure out that I've already picked up, okay? So, after I've started my test, I'm going to come in and I'm going to shut the horse, okay? We don't want... We don't want the horse to escape while you guys are in here cleaning out the stall. And this is open, so you guys can kind of come around. You can open that stall and go in there so you can see me a little bit better for you guys. So you get, there you go. All right, so I'm gonna go to this corner. Okay, now, somebody told me today they didn't know how to move the horse, so I'm gonna move him. Okay, see how I can do that? I just don't want him over here, so I'm gonna move him over. Did you see that, Shay? All right, so the very first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to level as I go, but I'm going to pick out the manure, and I'm going to pick out the wet shavings. Why is it so important that we pick out the wet shavings?
So they don't get stuck to the feet?
Well, that not so much, but that's a good point. We don't want that. And why else?
Because it's their urine.
It's their urine, yep. Okay, and it's going to get the rest of the shavings wet too, okay? It's just going to expand, so you're going to have an entirely wet stall if you don't get out all the wet shavings. So, to make sure that I get out all the wet shavings, and it's going to be pretty easy because you guys have stall mats in here, you guys are going to turn it over, okay? Then as you go, you're going to look for the manure, okay? See how I let those good shavings fall through my fork? Okay, so I'm only getting the manure. I don't want the good shavings to go. We just got in a load of shavings, 250 bags of shavings. How much do you think that costs to school? Costs $1,000, okay? It's like $975 to get in a load of shavings. Okay, so every time we have to get shavings in, that's how much it's costing the school. So think about that. We don't want to be wasting all of the school's money. So we're going to turn it over as we go. You have 8 minutes, okay? You want to get your stall clean within 8 minutes. And again, you're keeping an eye on the horse, but you're keeping your muck bucket close to you, okay? If you don't turn them over, then you're not going to know where those wet spots are. Val,
Yes.
How does your stable require you to clean out your stalls?
We pick the wet spot first because our horses are older and most of them have spots, specific spots where they poop and pee. So you always know which horse goes where. So we pick the wet spot, then we pick the poop spot, and the gross shavings we put in the wet spot so that it goes out the next time you pick the wet spot. We always pull the shavings out from underneath the feed and the water buckets.
Okay, and that's pretty important too. If you pull them out from underneath the water buckets, are those shavings going to be wet underneath there? Yeah, what's that wet from? Water. From the water, okay? And that'll get the rest of your shavings wet too. So that's a good idea too, as well, to pull them out from underneath the water buckets. And as you can tell, I'm just kind of leveling as I go. Again, you can watch how I let those good shavings fall through so that I'm only getting the bad shavings or the manure. Okay, and the other thing that you can do is pull the shavings away from the walls. Okay, so you can keep your stall level. You can already start to see it on this horse. You can see that little area right there where the hides has gotten knocked off of them. Okay, that just means it's been a stall where there's not enough shavings. Okay, so we want to make sure there's enough shavings so we don't get these marks on them. Okay, here's up their hocks. and just always keep an eye on your horse and what your horse in here is doing. How many people can safely clean a stall with a horse in it? One. Now, if you're in here and this stall becomes very dirty or very wet, we call that stripping the stall is what needs to happen. And that's when we take out every single bit of shavings and we put fresh shavings in. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of gather up this hay and kind of put it in the corner here. That's still good. As long as they haven't drug it out here to where they urinated on it. Okay, see these wet shavings right here? That's the urine spot. A lot of times you won't find that unless you're turning over the shavings to find them, okay?
Unless it's a horse where you know where they prefer to go.
Still need to check every spot because they could have urinated more than one spot, okay? I had a barrel horse that he got bored in his stall and he drank all the time when I was in college because apparently he liked to make me spend a lot of money in shavings. That was his goal in life, I think. He would pee and then dig his way to China. There we go. See how I moved him? Alright, so tell me what I need to know about cleaning out a stall. How do I do it?
Turn over the shavings to find the urine.
Okay, what else? What are the important things I need to do?
Opposite side.
Push the horse over to the opposite side.
Scrape it off.
Did you see how I kind of had to go in front of him just to get him to realize what I wanted him to do? Just because they don't move the first time, they may just not understand what you want them to do. Okay, where do I need to keep my musk bucket?
Right next to you.
Somewhere close to me. Okay, what am I going to make sure about the shavings?
You keep them even.
Okay, I'm going to level them.
And let the good shavings fall through while you
Let the good shavings fall through. Now, this is, for some reason, everybody's favorite way to start out cleaning a stall. You get there like this. Okay? Yeah, but they don't really dig in there. They just come through like this. There's some manure. There's some manure. Okay, what are you seeing about the difference between what I was doing and that?
It's not very efficient.
It's not very efficient, okay? You're taking a long time. Okay, get in there, turn them over, figure out what you need to get. Let your good shavings fall. I've already seen some of that this week, so that's why I was making note of it. Okay, and if you're in the stud barn or if you're in the mare barn, you'll need to sweep around the edges of those stalls. You'll see there's a little edge. You can sweep the shavings off those stalls. Okay, what questions do you guys have? No questions? All right, this test will be due September 12th. Okay? Everybody needs to do this test by September 12th. That's probably good, Val. Okay.